We are discussing the properties of Fourier transform, and this is the continuation of the previous lecture. In the previous lecture we have discussed two properties. The first one was if x of t is even, then its Fourier transform x of j omega will be purely real, and if x of t is odd, then x of j omega will be purely imaginary. That is the first property. And the second property was translation in time. Okay, that also we have seen. That is, if you take the Fourier transform of x of t, then it is x of j omega, then its time delayed version x of t minus t has Fourier transform e to the minus j omega t times x of j omega. Now let us work out some problems. Okay, suppose we take a function e to the minus at, right? This function e power minus at follows a rule for a finite duration. Let's say this is minus d and this is plus d. In between you have the function like this. Okay, so this is going to be e to the minus at between minus d to plus d, and this is 0 everywhere. Here it is 0 and here it is 0. Okay, so right from minus infinity it is 0, minus infinity up to minus d it is 0, from d to infinity again it is 0. Now we can find the Fourier transform by two methods. Let's say method 1, it is quite straightforward, right? Simply you apply the formula and you can find the answer. What is the formula? Like x of j omega is equal to integral of x of t e to the minus j omega t times dt. That is, now the signal exists from minus d to plus d, then e to the minus at, then e to the minus j omega t times dt. So this is one method, straightforward method. Now alternatively we can make use of the properties of the linearity of the Fourier transform as well as the time shift property, which we have discussed in the last lecture. So here we will use linearity, and then time delay property. So linearity says, like you take x1 of t, its Fourier transform is x1 of j omega, x2 of t has Fourier transform x2 of j omega. Then what it says is a times x1 of t plus b times x2 of t has Fourier transform a times x1 of j omega plus b times x2 of j omega. Okay, so what is the time delay of this thing? X of t minus d is equal to, you take Fourier transform, then e to the minus j omega d times x of j omega. So let us use these two properties and try to find the Fourier transform of the given function, this one. X of t. Now what we can do is this x of t, like this x of t can be thought of as composed of two functions. Okay, so one function is like this, like let's say it is keep on goes like this. Okay, and another function is like this, like this. Okay, this one is e power minus at, and this one is minus minus e power minus ad. Okay, where you substitute t equal to d in this one. So this is e power at. Anyway, we will work out slowly one by one, no problem. Okay, now when t is equal to minus d, what is the magnitude do we need? So this is e power minus at, then e power minus at, then t is equal to minus d, therefore this is e to the ad. So this magnitude is e to the ad. So we have to find out the Fourier transform of this function. So this function, how do you denote? E to the a d and okay, so let me not confuse this one, let it be as it is. Then we have to find the Fourier transform. Let me call this as x1 of t, and Fourier transform of this guy let me call x2 of t, and add these two guys, that's all. Then that will give you the Fourier transform of this x of t. Therefore x1 of t plus x2 of t is equal to x of t. Okay, now we can do this by different way. First of all, I need to build this guy. How can I build it? Let me take an exponential function like this. Okay, so this function I can write as e to the minus at times u of t. When t equals 0, then its magnitude is 1. Now what you do, but what do I need is, I need the magnitude of e to the ad. Therefore you take the same function but multiply by e to the ad, then what happens? You will get like this. So it starts from e to the ad when t equals 0. So this function is e to the, its coefficient is e to the ad times e to the minus at times u of t. Now if you substitute t equals 0, then you will get this e to the ad. Okay, now this function has to be advanced. Okay, so you have to translate in time by an amount d. Okay, now how do you translate this by amount of time d? You put plus. Okay, so I need to start from here, let us say d, then it has to go like this. Therefore this function is e to the ad e to the minus a of t plus d times u of t plus d, like this. Now this guy has a Fourier transform e to the ad times 1 by, if you have minus, then it becomes plus a plus j omega. Okay, now here there is a delay. The delay you have to multiply. That means if you have the Fourier transform of x of t is x of j omega, then x of t minus d is equal to e to the minus j omega d divided by multiply by x of j omega. Similarly, this guy has the Fourier transform of e to the minus j omega d, that shift, multiply by the whole thing, it comes here. So e to the ad times 1 over a plus j omega. So we are using the translation property. This is my original signal x1 of t, and this one is x1 of t plus d, advanced by time. Okay, if it is advanced, then this would be plus e to the plus j omega d e to the ad divided by 1 plus a j omega. So what it says is, if x1 of t you take Fourier transform, then you will get x1 of j omega, and here x1 of t plus d, if you take Fourier transform, you will get e to the j omega d times x1 of j omega, and this one is what? x1 of j omega. So the same thing I wrote here, x1 of j omega, but multiply by this e to the j omega d, this one. That's it. Okay, so now let us construct x2 of t. How do you construct x2 of t? It is delayed by certain amount. It is like this. Now in this point, look at the original function. What is the magnitude here? in the original given function. When t is equal to d, then this magnitude is going to be e to the minus ad. Okay, and this magnitude is e to the ad, and this magnitude is e to the minus ad, and here plus ad and here minus ad if the exponent part is. Therefore, this part is going to be e to the minus ad, and this is again it's a delayed version. So first what we do is, let us construct a signal, and it is, we know that e power minus at, and this magnitude is 1. Now what I am going to do, I am going to construct another signal, but the magnitude is not 1, it is e to the minus ad, and this one is e to the minus at times u of t. Now I need to shift in the right hand side up to d units. So therefore, like this. So this one is e to the minus ad, then e to the minus a times t minus d, right, plus u of t minus d. That's it. Now what is the Fourier transform of this guy? E to the minus ad times Fourier transform is 1 by a plus j omega. Now one more thing, before that let me do one thing. So in fact I don't want this one, I need the inverse of this. So like this. So therefore this is minus e to the minus ad times e to the minus a of t minus d times u of t minus d. Right. Now if you take the Fourier transform of this, minus e to the minus ad, then the original transform is this one, 1 over a plus j omega, and this one is multiplied by, there is a minus sign, therefore e to the minus j omega d. So this is the Fourier transform of this component, this guy, this one, this is plus d. So this is my x2 of t, right. So originally the given signal is like this. This point is e to the ad, and this point is e to the minus ad, and this I can construct as like this. It keep on goes up to infinity. This is my x1 of t. Now I will take one more signal, and this point it goes like this. So subtract this guy and that guy, subtract x2 of t from x1 of t, then you will get back this guy. Therefore this x of t this is e to the ad, this is e to the minus ad. Okay. So therefore then your x of t is equal to x1 of t minus x2 of t. Then what happens? This part and this part, this part and this part both will get cancelled each other. Okay. So therefore you will get a x of t. Therefore x of t is equal to x1 of t minus x2 of t. I mean plus, because it's already minus, so therefore this is plus. I am sorry. If it is this one is, if it is this side, then you put minus, but anyway already have taken the minus here, so it becomes plus. So I take Fourier transform, then by linearity x of j omega is equal to x1 of j omega plus x2 of j omega. Or you can say, in other words also you can say, let's say this is my function like this, then e to the ad this point, and this point is e to the minus ad, then this is my x of t. Then you construct a signal like this, x1 of t, then you construct another signal like this. Then this point is, this point, what is, by the way, what is this point? This point is e to the minus ad times this, the amplitude is e to the minus ad, and this also e to the minus ad. Okay, x2 of t. Now you subtract now this x1 of, now what is x of t? X of t is equal to x1 of t plus x2 of t. Now in this case, sorry, minus. So this minus this point 0, this point minus this point 0, this point minus this point 0. So you can substitute all the values like this up to infinity. You can do term by term, term by term, point by point, point by point, we subtract, you will get 0. So either you can write in this way or you can write in this way. Either way you can use it, not an issue. Now what is x1 of j? x1 of j is e to the, if you rearrange the terms, then e to the ad, then e to the j omega d divided by a plus j omega. Then what is x2 of j omega? It is e to the minus ad, then e to the minus j omega d divided by a plus j omega. The numerator is denominator is common for both the guys, so you can pull out a plus j omega in the numerator, e to the a plus j omega times d minus e to the minus of a plus j omega times d, and this one is what? It looks like a sine term, right? So then decreasing sinusoidal. So this example shows us that if you recognize the function as composed of linear combination of functions whose Fourier transforms you delay, you already know. Okay, just to recognize that it is a linear combination of some basic functions, and those basic functions Fourier transform we already know. So we can intelligently get the Fourier transform without having to do the integration, this integration. Anyway, here this is simple integration, no problem, but some other problems it will be very easy. This is after all simple, so you can easily find out, but some other case it may not be very simple. Okay, so without having to do the integration, starting from the scratch, right? Now let us take up the next property. Just like you have translation time, we can think of translation in frequency. So this is which property? Third property, translation in frequency. Okay, so it is equivalent to multiplication by j omega ct in time domain. Like if x of t has Fourier transform x of j omega, then the Fourier transform of x of t multiplied by e to the j omega ct has a Fourier transform of x of j times omega minus omega c. We will prove this. In fact, this is a very, very important property. Okay, so we would like to find out what is the Fourier transform of x of t multiplied by e to the j omega ct. Okay, now we know the definition, the Fourier proof. Fourier transform of x of t is equal to integral of x of t times e to the minus j omega t times dt, and the limit is minus infinity to plus infinity. Now what we are saying is x of t multiplied by e to the j omega ct, not omega omega ct. As already I told you, the c indicates carrier, the suffix c indicates carrier. That will be very clear when you study amplitude modulation in the next semester. So integral of x of t e to the j omega ct times e to the j omega t dt, and the limit is minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, again what is this? You rearrange this, x of t e to the j, this is minus by the way, minus j omega minus omega c times t and dt. There is a minus sign here. E to the minus j omega t times dt. Okay. Now if we have omega, then it is a function of omega once you do the integration, x of j omega. It is called x of j omega. Now instead of omega, what do I have here? Omega minus omega c. Therefore the whole thing is x of j times omega minus omega c. That's it. Okay. Now here the Fourier transform is x of j omega. Okay, and this is also the same as the Fourier transform of x of j omega, except that the spectrum gets displaced by the amount omega c, by an amount omega c. So whatever value it takes at a particular value of omega, it takes the same value at omega minus omega c. So this is again an important relation which will be useful in the context of amplitude modulation of signals, where x of t is really multiplied by e to the j omega ct. Okay. Sometimes what you do, you multiply x of t by cos omega ct, your carrier frequency, sinusoidal carrier. Sinusoidal carrier. Again, this sinusoidal carrier can be thought of e to the j omega ct plus e to the minus j omega ct. This whole thing is multiplied by x of t. So in this case, what will happen? X of t multiplied by e to the j omega ct plus x of t multiplied by e to the minus j omega ct, and this Fourier transform is going to be x of j times omega minus omega c, and here this is going to be x of j times omega plus omega c. Okay. So you notice that the duality between property of translation time and the translation frequency. This is translation in frequency. Translation in frequency. So when you are translating the functions of time, then in the transform domain, the transform gets multiplied by an exponential time. If you are translating it in the frequency domain, then as we have done here, then in the time domain it gets multiplied by e to the j omega ct. So there is a duality between the transform domain and time domain. So in the previous case, we shifted x of t minus d, and here we are shifting by omega minus omega c, that's all. In the frequency domain, multiply by e to the minus j omega d times x of j omega, and when they do the same shifting in the frequency domain, j times omega minus omega c, then it is multiplied by e to the j omega ct times x of t. There is a duality like this. So shifting the time domain leads to exponential multiplication. Shifting the frequency domain leads to multiplying in the time domain by an exponential function. Okay. Now this is by 2, I forgot here. So this also by 2 and here also by 2. So this is by 2 and here also by 2. Let me write down here x of j times omega minus omega c by 2 plus x of j times omega plus omega c by 2. What does it mean? What is the meaning of these two equations? Let's say I have a signal x of t. I take Fourier transform. Fourier transform is x of j omega. Let me say my Fourier transform is like this. Just arbitrarily, simply I am drawing like this. Now what is x of j minus omega c? That is going to be like this. Then it is shifted by omega is equal to omega c like this. But now the amplitude is 1/2 of that. Here let us say the amplitude is 1 and here half of the amplitude, and this is x of j times omega minus omega c, and this minus side also you have like this. Again this is x of j times omega plus omega c like this, and this is center point. This one is this, and there is no arrow mark like this, that's it. This amplitude is 1/2. So amplitude is reduced by 1/2, but the original signal amplitude is 1. Now these two spectrums are translated in the frequency domain. That's what we mean by. Okay, so we will be studying this more about this in the amplitude modulation when we discuss communication systems, analog communication system. Okay, so in fact this kind of frequency translation is done for the case of two important things. The first one is the transmission of information. It will be more convenient if the information is centered around a high frequency rather than DC. See, originally it is centered around a 0, right? This is omega. 0 means it is centered around 0. around 0. It is a low frequency. Let's say this is plus W and this is minus W, and this point is omega c plus W, and this point is omega c minus W, and this point is minus omega c plus W, and this point is minus omega c minus W, and this point is minus omega c, right? So instead of originally my spectrum is centered around 0 frequency, now it is centered at omega c and minus omega c. Okay. And one more point is that the same communication channel can be more effectively used by having several items of information. For example, this is the spectrum of let's say mic 1. You want to transmit audio signal mic 1. Then for mic 2 also produces more or less same signal, but this time what you do, you center under some other frequency, non-overlapping frequency, let's say some other frequency. Okay, this is not equal to omega c. Therefore, this side also you can put user 2. User 2, the user 2 signal is coming from mic 2, and this one is mic 1, like that. So there is a chance of sending more number of information in a common channel. So we will be studying this in more detail in the next course. Okay, so that you can put another, even you can put one more user's information also like this. One more, this is called something called frequency division multiplexing. So the frequency division multiplexing is possible through this frequency shifting property. Okay, so let me stop at this point, and in the next lecture we will start from differentiation in time domain. Okay, thank you very much.